Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am thrilled to be here with you today because we are mapping out what I like to call the ultimate dual blueprint for a stable life. Honestly, if you want a truly sturdy foundation to build your future on, you really only need to master two major domains to start with: your money and your people.
Right, let's just dive straight in, because let's face it, these are the two massive questions that keep most of us up at night, right? Where exactly does your money go every month? And when things get really tough, who is truly in your corner? It is so incredibly common to feel like your funds are just vanishing into thin air, or to feel totally disconnected even when you're physically surrounded by people. Well, today, we're going to fix that by uncovering the answers hidden in our source material.
So, Pillar 1, your financial foundation, building stability to support yourself and others.
Think of your financial well-being like the concrete base of a house. When that base is rock solid, you don't just support your own goals and dreams, you actually gain the bandwidth and the capacity to support others, whether that's your family, your community, or maybe not-for-profit organizations that you really care about. The definition of financial well-being is actually pretty straightforward. It's the basic understanding of and ability to function within your economic and tax system. It's living within your means, and it's paying your bills on time. Notice what's missing there. It doesn't say anything about having $1 billion in your checking account. It's entirely about practical economic function. Just knowing how the system works and navigating it smoothly so you aren't constantly stressed out.
But how do we actually do that in the real world? We had a user from the source material named Budget Buddy ask, "I feel like my money just disappears. How do I actually keep track of it?" And man, is that a relatable question. It's the perfect pivot into some actionable, everyday financial strategies to stop that disappearing act right in its tracks. Well, the answer starts with the absolute most fundamental rule of budgeting: ruthlessly comparing your needs against your wants. Your needs are your essential living expenses. We're talking rent, groceries, tuition. Your wants are those non-essential purchases and luxuries. If you genuinely want to keep track of your cash, aggressively separating these two categories is step number 1. This categorization naturally builds into 3 highly practical steps to track and save. Step 1, estimate your expenses right out of the gate. If you're a student, use a first-year budgeting calculator to project the whole year. Step 2, track all your spending, literally everything from major tuition bills down to daily living costs. Don't leave anything out. And step 3, save daily. It's really the small things, like grabbing discounted flyer items at the grocery store or using a bus pass instead of paying per ride. Those little adjustments are what plug the everyday leaks in your wallet.
Okay, so once the daily leaks are plugged, we can start looking ahead. Another user, Future Planner, asked, "I want to save for a house, but it feels so far away. Is it even worth starting now?" The answer is a massive, resounding yes! And that shifts us perfectly from daily expense tracking to some really exciting long-term future planning.
Because there is a very logical progression to funding your future. Step 1 is exactly what we just talked about, establishing that basic budget to track your money. Step 2 is setting goal-oriented savings with your bank. Having a specific goal, whether it's a down payment for a house, building an emergency fund, or honestly just treating yourself to a weekend away, completely dictates how you save. Your local bank can actually help you pick the right investment plans for those specific targets. And step 3, seek external funding to boost those savings even further.
Now, what exactly do we mean by external funding? Well, there's a whole list of incredible, specific benefits available to students and grads. We're talking academic scholarships for excellence, bursaries if you're in financial need, and government aid like OSAP or research grants. And please, do not leave those university perks on the table. Grab an SBC card for serious discounts on fashion, food, and travel. Even as an alumni, you can access special rates on insurance and travel. It is quite literally free money and savings just waiting to be claimed.
So, here's the crucial point. Financial well-being isn't just about saving for a fun trip or managing your daily coffee budget. It also includes the unglamorous but absolutely vital stuff: securing adequate insurance, maintaining your health benefit coverage, actively avoiding unnecessary debt, and yes, planning for retirement early. Doing these kind of boring tasks today is what ultimately secures the blueprint of your future.
Which naturally brings us to Pillar 2, building your social web, moving from internal finances to external connections.
You see, once you have that stable financial foundation locked in, it actually frees up a tremendous amount of your mental and emotional bandwidth. You're no longer constantly stressing over money, which allows you to focus outwardly on the second half of our blueprint, relational well-being. The source material defines this beautifully. It says, relational well-being is not just about having friends on social media. It's about fostering genuine connections where we value others' needs and provide mutual support. True well-being requires us to move far beyond those superficial digital ties. It's about building a real, breathing support network that you can actually count on.
But, establishing that network takes actual skill. It doesn't just happen by accident. You need strong communication. You need the ability to build intimacy. And crucially, you need a willingness to ask for help when you're struggling. It also involves managing interpersonal disputes smoothly, being a strong team player, and recognizing subtle social cues. These are the active daily tools you need to build and maintain those meaningful connections.
But what if you were starting from absolute zero? User Community first asked, I just moved to a new city and feel totally disconnected. How do I even start building a social web from scratch? This is such a common, real-world challenge. Thankfully, the research outlines some very practical, community-building solutions to get you started.
There are just so many diverse ways to connect and build bonds. You could join a community of like-minded people, like a religious faith or a local sports group. Take a hobby class, maybe cooking, or a book club. If you happen to be a student at a school like the University of Waterloo, there are over 400 clubs to explore. They even have a legendary cheese club. Come on, how great is that? And remember, connecting doesn't always have to be some big, elaborate production. Sharing a simple meal with a loved one, or honestly just binge-watching a show together can significantly deepen your bond.
All right, let's move to Pillar 3, setting healthy boundaries, protecting your energy and your finances.
Boundaries are literally the bridge between the two pillars we just discussed. They protect your financial stability and your emotional energy at the exact same time. To highlight exactly why this matters, user Healthy Borders asks, I love my friends, but sometimes I feel drained by their constant demands. Is that part of this dimension too? Yes, absolutely. Setting boundaries is just as important as building those connections in the first place. Without them, your beautifully crafted social web can actually become a draining trap.
Boundaries are incredibly expansive. They involve mutual respect and understanding. They can be physical, emotional, or even financial, keeping everyone feeling safe. They aren't just about saying no to hanging out when you're tired. They apply directly to protecting your physical space and your wallet, too. Setting clear expectations just keeps everyone comfortable and secure.
A big part of maintaining these boundaries is knowing how to evaluate your relationships. It really comes down to a stark comparison. Green flags indicate a connection built on trust, honesty, and mutual support. On the flip side, red flags include constant criticism of personal attributes, like your gender or disability, or simply feeling unsafe. If you spot those red flags, your boundaries need to go up immediately. No questions asked.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. We've covered how to track your funds, how to build your social web, and how to protect both with solid, healthy boundaries. So I want to leave you with this one provocative question. Who haven't you talked to in a while that you could reach out to today? Take what you've learned, send that text, make that call, and start strengthening your foundation right now. I'm your host, and I will see you next time as we dive into another fascinating topic.